Welcome back. We've spent a lot of time investigating inflation, tracking how the cost of living eats away your purchasing power. Watch the financial news right now, and you see pure noise, relief rallies, sudden drops, and panicked headlines. But beneath the daily volatility, the largest consolidation of global capital in human history is silently taking place. In 1877, Cornelius Vanderbilt died and left behind the largest fortune in the world, over $100 million. Despite the massive economic growth of the 20th century, his heirs made such poor capital allocation decisions that within 70 years, the entire Vanderbilt family wealth was gone. Today, no descendant can trace their money back to that original empire. This diagram shows the K-shaped economy. The stakes today are much higher than they were for the Vanderbilts. Two economic trajectories are permanently diverging. The top arm, representing asset owners, points sharply upward. The bottom arm, representing wage earners, points steadily downward. The system is functioning as designed, actively stripping away your labor's value to subsidize the upper arm of that curve. If you rely solely on a salary, your purchasing power and labor value are being engineered out of the market. The modern economy utilizes three specific, largely invisible engines to continuously siphon wealth from the bottom and deliver it straight to the top. Let's look at exactly how they work. The first engine is demographic inheritance. Over the next 2 decades, an estimated $124 trillion in wealth is expected to pass from baby boomers down to millennials. It is the largest intergenerational transfer of assets on record. Most of this wealth is locked up in real estate. The older generation bought into the property market during periods of extreme economic growth and relatively low prices, effectively hoarding the global housing supply. Look at this grid representing the entire U.S. rental market. Right now, baby boomers own 58% of all rental properties in America. A single generation controls the majority of the supply, squeezing out younger buyers. This dynamic creates an inheritocracy. In economies with slower growth and lower interest rates, the value of inherited assets expands much faster than wages. The math favors the money you receive, not the money you earn. Relying on the salary effectively locks you out of the primary wealth-building vehicle of the past century. You are left renting from the very people who benefited from the previous era of growth. The second engine operates on a macroeconomic scale. The fiat transfer relies on global geopolitics and engineered inflation to move capital. It often starts with a geopolitical flashpoint. When a maritime choke point is threatened, global energy supply chains are put at risk, and the cost of oil spikes. During the energy crises of the 1970s, the resulting oil embargoes provided the necessary leverage to restructure the global financial order and solidify the petrodollar. Today, a transnational network of banks, asset managers, and insurance markets, the financial industrial complex, uses these specific global crises to justify massive market interventions. When a crisis hits, central banks respond by printing trillions of dollars and rapidly expanding their balance sheets. They claim this is necessary to stabilize the system and protect the economy. This monetary expansion acts as a stealth tax on the working class. By flooding the system with new currency, the purchasing power of your cash savings is destroyed through inflation. Every global crisis functions to socialize economic losses onto the general public, while the financial gains from the resulting inflation remain privatized for the asset-holding class. The third engine is the automation transfer, driven by the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence. The current boom in AI represents the replacement of high-paying, white-collar labor. It is a direct disruption of the cognitive workforce. Technology giants are currently spending trillions of dollars on massive data centers and power infrastructure. They are building out a physical network specifically designed to replace human cognitive productivity with machine efficiency. Look back at the personal computing revolution. Early software and laptops empowered human workers, making them more valuable. AI renders the human cognitive layer obsolete. In an AI-driven economy, if your only economic asset is your ability to process information and perform cognitive labor, your market value is about to face severe, unrecoverable deflation. The K-curve creates a reality where the majority of the population is transitioned from asset ownership into a cycle of permanent debt and rent-seeking. Most people will fail to adapt because they are caught in a psychological trap. Information overload creates emotional paralysis. Instead of making strategic decisions, retail investors become completely reactive to the daily noise. This graph illustrates the two most common retail mistakes. You have people gambling on hypervolatile meme coins, hoping to get rich quick, or you have people sitting entirely in cash, watching its value slowly angle downward as inflation eats its purchasing power. The elite use a first principles playbook. They do not gamble. Instead, they systematically acquire scarce, productive assets that outpace inflation over long periods of time. To survive this transfer, you must dollar-cost average into equities, real estate, and hard digital assets. You build positions gradually and ignore the daily theater of geopolitical panic. Generational wealth is never built by reacting to the morning headlines. To survive the multipolar, AI-driven future arriving right now, you have to stop being a mere consumer of the. When Cornelius Vanderbilt died in 1877, he left his oldest son over $100 million, the largest fortune in the world at the time. Within 70 years, that entire fortune was gone. No descendant today can trace their wealth back to the original estate. The heirs spent aggressively and made poor investment decisions, liquidating a global empire in 2 generations. This pattern is so common it has its own aphorism, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. It describes the cycle where wealth is built by the first, managed by the second, and completely exhausted by the third. This trend continues today. The top 10 wealthiest Americans all built their own businesses. It isn't until number 11 on the list that we see a family whose fortune came through inheritance. This historical record suggests that capital alone is a fragile asset. Without the financial literacy to navigate shifting economic eras, even the largest inheritance becomes a countdown to zero. We are now approaching a modern version of the Vanderbilt story. Millennials are expected to become the richest generation in history as they inherit assets from their baby boomer parents and grandparents. The scale of this transfer is unprecedented. An estimated $124 trillion will change hands over the next 20 years, a sum that represents a significant percentage of global GDP. This accumulation is largely the result of a historical anomaly. Real estate prices began growing faster than inflation in the 1960s, creating a boom in asset values that allowed the boomer generation to build savings far beyond their incomes. This inflated wealth is now being funneled toward fewer people. Because birth rates have fallen, heirs with fewer siblings are receiving windfalls that are on average 24% larger than those of previous generations. The danger lies in the source of this wealth. Because these gains were driven by specific conditions, like falling interest rates and rising real estate demand, heirs who treat this capital as a permanent baseline, rather than a lucky windfall, are positioned to lose it as those conditions change. While one generation prepares to receive trillions, a second disruption is already beginning. Artificial intelligence is driving a simultaneous transfer of technological wealth. Investors are now positioning their portfolios for a 36-month window where AI moves beyond simple factory automation and begins to disrupt high-paying white-collar industries. In a slow-growth economy where wage growth is stagnant, a traditional salaried job and a family home are becoming less reliable as primary stores of value. The productivity gains of this new era are moving towards those who own the machines, not those who work alongside them. To navigate this, investors must understand the broader system. Markets are currently responding to signals from central banks, where shifting interest rates and liquidity data determine whether the rally continues or the system becomes fragile. Heirs who try to apply the economic logic of 1990 to the AI-driven market of today are ignoring the fact that the underlying rules have changed. Success in this environment requires a shift from labor-based income to asset ownership. The most common obstacle for new investors is information overload. Between newsletters, social media threads, and macro updates, many become reactive rather than strategic, chasing every green candle they see on a chart. This leads to a cycle of emotional buying. Investors rush into crowded trades at the top of a rally, confusing short-term momentum with long-term value. When volatility returns, triggered by geopolitical risks in energy transmission points like the Strait of Hormuz, those same investors often freeze. They see rising oil prices and inflation and panic sell at the exact moment they should be looking for entries. Markets are designed to punish human instinct. They reward those who can filter the noise and remain disciplined, while the crowd is driven by either greed or paralyzing fear. If you only own your labor, you are vulnerable. You depend on wages that can be pressured by automation and government systems that may not preserve your purchasing power over time. Survival requires a transition to ownership. You must own a portion of the system that is changing, equity in the companies building the platforms, and claims on the productivity of the machines. This involves dollar-cost averaging into areas of long-term conviction, such as foundational AI infrastructure and established digital assets, rather than gambling on speculative hype. Maintaining cash reserves provides the strategic firepower necessary to act during periods of volatility. This liquidity allows an investor to take advantage of the market when prices fall, rather than being forced to sell. The goal is to identify an asymmetric opportunity. This happens when a strong narrative, incoming liquidity, and proper timing all converge, offering significant potential upside with a downside that can be managed. Generational wealth depends on a deep understanding of the economic machine. It requires the discipline to own productive assets and the patience to wait for the world to move in the direction you have already prepared. Over the next 36 months, artificial intelligence is rapidly transitioning from experimental lab research into mass enterprise deployment. This shift is specifically designed to automate the tasks traditionally performed by high-earning middle management. We see this transition in recent macroeconomic data. Demand for white-collar roles has stagnated, with job postings trending downward. Simultaneously, AI infrastructure spending is climbing vertically, creating a significant gap between capital investment and human hiring. This divergence defines the AI wealth transfer, a process that concentrates capital in technology infrastructure while diluting the earning power of traditional labor. Staying in a standard career with a standard index portfolio during this window creates a dual-sided exposure. You risk seeing your wage growth stall while your investments remain too broad to capture the concentrated growth happening in tech infrastructure. To navigate this, you have to view your career, your human capital, as the largest single asset in your financial life. Traditional advice suggests staying diversified to minimize risk over several decades. However, if AI automates your specific role, a broad portfolio won't compensate for the loss of your primary income. You'll be holding a conservative mix of assets while the actual wealth is moving into the companies replacing your job. Building a specific position in AI infrastructure functions as a financial offset to the potential depreciation of your own professional market value. For a white-collar professional, maintaining the status quo over the next 3 years effectively means carrying a massive, unhedged risk against your ability to earn. The first way to hedge is through foundational infrastructure, often called the picks and shovels of the industry. This layer is made of physical assets, server racks, massive data centers, and the high-density electrical systems required to power them. Capital is flooding here first, because this is the prerequisite plumbing. Software cannot scale without this physical foundation already in place. At the center of this infrastructure are the advanced semiconductors and microchips that make large-scale computation possible. Investing here provides direct alignment with current corporate spending patterns. The trade-off is the high valuation. You're paying a premium today for the expectation of perfect growth tomorrow. Over-allocating to this layer leaves you vulnerable to cyclical downturns if the build-out of hardware eventually exceeds the demand for software. The second option is the application layer, the consumer-facing software and AI-driven tools. If a specific app gains mass adoption, the potential for growth can outpace hardware companies significantly. The major risk here is a total lack of defensibility. These companies can be rendered obsolete in a single day by an update from a major tech giant or a new open-source release. This fragility makes software wrappers highly speculative and generally poor tools for insurance against career disruption. Creating a true hedge involves moving capital out of safer index positions to deliberately overweight your portfolio in AI-focused tech ETFs. The goal is to build a safety net that increases in value specifically when corporate profits rise due to lower payroll costs in your sector. Deviating from traditional diversification is difficult, especially when tech stocks experience high volatility. If AI development stalls or faces regulatory bans, a concentrated portfolio will lag behind the broader market. This is the core trade-off. You are trading current market stability for an insurance policy that only pays off if the labor market undergoes a major contraction. This framework helps determine how much exposure you need based on the specific risks to your career. High vulnerability roles are those involving data synthesis, reporting, and routine digital logistics. For a manager in this category, the risk of job displacement is high. This requires a more concentrated position in foundational AI infrastructure as a direct offset to your salary risk. On the other hand, low vulnerability roles include physical trades, human-centric negotiations, and specialized medical work. Professionals in this category have secure income streams that are unlikely to be automated in the near term. Because your income is secure, you don't need to take on the extreme valuation risks of concentrated AI stocks. A standard, diversified approach remains effective. Successfully navigating the AI wealth transfer requires a cold calculation of risk, rather than an expectation of easy returns. Participation means trading away current portfolio stability to buy a measure of security against future workforce obsolescence. Assess the durability of your human capital and decide which risk you are better prepared to manage.